Boom! You guys, I think we're live. Restream decided to pull some nice fun stuff and like gave me Restream isn't connecting. Try again. And literally I was like tripping out. So now I'm much more calm. So welcome to the Western New York Report with Nikki Lawley, your patient advocate, and Paula Collins, our tax attorney expert. How are you, Miss Collins, today?
I am doing well, thank you. I'm much better than my phone. My phone completely died. Hello, Jack Pocari. So
Oh, good. I gotta turn the chat on. Shit. Got it.
yeah, you have to turn on Facebook or whatever because I went hiking. I bought some land and I went to go walk on my land, and
Oh, the
there
little
was
land walk.
snow. Yeah, there was a land walk exactly. There was snow on the ground, and um, hello, Joseph. And I dropped my phone in the snow, and the phone shortly thereafter died. And so, if you've been trying to reach me by telephone or by text, and I've been out of pocket, that's what happened. Then I had the wonderful adventure. I bought a paper atlas not too long ago because I am driving all over the state these days. And sometimes you want to see the big picture instead of just what's on the little GPS
Oh, you
screen.
bought a paper map, like the one
I
that you
bought
have
a
to
paper map.
fold, like the
No,
one that.
this is like a spiral, like, and
Oh,
so
better. Okay, okay,
the big
okay.
one. It's the whole country actually. And thank God I brought that because I'm so
You would
used
have
to
been
GPS.
so fucked because you didn't have your GPS.
My GPS.
OMFG. Hey, have you popped your phone in some rice? I hear
I
that
it's rice.
you
Yep,
tried the
as we
rice trick.
speak, it's
Oh
there.
shit. It's
We're gonna
there.
see. We're gonna
Let's
see
let's hope
what
it
happens in the morning.
slurps that moisture out. You got the cover off, you got everything off, right?
Yep, yep,
Yeah.
yep, yep, yep,
Even the screen front thing.
yep.
Like if you got a okay, because a lot of people have that glass screen and I don't know.
Oh, maybe I see what you're talking about. Let me do that.
And again, just because water can seep into all the holes, that's the only reason I'm saying that. Hey Joe, hey Jack, we got the J and J on the live tonight.
So what's
So,
new with you, Nikki?
okay, Paula, nice. I have been in the job search, in the what's my purpose search for quite some time.
For as long as I've
And,
known you.
pardon?
For as long as I've known you.
Well, there you go. And tell the audience what you said last time when we were off camera, how much I've changed since the 3 years
Oh, I
you
think we
met
were
me.
on camera.
No, we
Yeah,
weren't.
but when I first met Nikki, um, she would come up to me. We had talked several times in person. We had talked a lot of times on LinkedIn or on Facebook, I think.
Yeah.
And she would, she kind of had a little script that she would say, like, I know we've met and I know I've talked to you, but I had a traumatic brain injury and I do not remember names. And so, and I will say your speech was different then. Like your speech was it, it's
Lower.
too harsh to say it was impaired, but it wasn't like it is now. And so I can really tell the positive impact that cannabis has had on you just in the time that I've known you, which
And
is
we
going
met
on about
Nikki in
3 years.
Albany, right? Yeah, we met Nikki
Yeah,
in Albany,
Nikki
I
and
think.
Albany.
Yeah. So, I mean,
No,
that's
I
just a
think we
testament.
first met in Boston, Nikan, but you don't remember that.
Oh, I definitely don't remember that one. That was the first time I spoke at a cannabis event. It was Nika in Boston. And yeah, it was pretty cool. I wasn't nervous at all, which is absolutely crazy when I think of how far I've come as far as, being an outspoken advocate and speaking to the plant, speaking to other people about the plant. Cannabis just kind of gave me bravery. But anyway, all that set aside, um, Andre Reed was going to be at the grand opening of the Rise dispensary in Henrietta. So, hey, Brad, boom, Slade. I've been talking about you.
Whoa.
I've
Look
been talking
who's
about you,
here.
Brad. Like what the hell's going on with New York, Canada? Oh, Jordan's on here too. Bro, we are getting popular on the Sunday night. Boom sleigh. We got all
Boom
the boys in the
slay.
house. All the
You
boys
got
in
it.
the house.
You got it.
But the coolest, I don't even know what I was saying. I
Nikki survived a traumatic brain injury, and sometimes people with brain injuries are very free flowing with the curse words.
very colorful adjectives.
Yeah, yeah.
Anyway, point being, uh, we literally met at NECAN, but my event this weekend at the Rise Dispensary, I got to meet Andre Reed. I talked to the guy who's running all of New York. What a cool dude.
Okay,
Um,
wait. For our
okay.
audience, who is Andre Reed? Although it's the WNY report, so
I
maybe
mean,
we don't
really, if
even
you're
have
in
to say it.
WNY and you don't know who Andre Reed is, just saying.
Okay, all right.
Andre Reed was a badass, bad butt football player here in Buffalo for the Buffalo Bills.
Buffalo
I
Bills.
think he was number 83, but I could be wrong on that. I just feel like I've seen that number. But awesome player. And what was so funny is I had gotten fluffed and buffed for the event because, I was getting an award and
Because that's Nikki.
I didn't want
Nikki
to just look
always
like
shows
this,
up fluffed and buffed.
I didn't want to just look like this. I wanted to, come in and hot. So Andre Reed, I'm talking to this cool dude from Rise, and literally Andre Reed comes walking by and he goes, "Ooh," and I'm like, "Ooh," like I didn't realize you. So anyway, it was just kind of funny that he turned around and goes, "Is it Christmas here?" And I'm like, "What's that even mean?" And I'm like, "I'm not in red and green. I'm in red, black, and white," and it was just so funny. Anyway, we got a selfie, and so that was like kind of a cool highlight of the afternoon. Then Jack Pocari and I hit the road and we went down the street to MJ Dispensary 585, which is an adult use dispensary. Oh, BTF. Back the F up. Rise went adult use. So now it's a medical and adult use dispensary in Henrietta, which is the first one I've been to that has that designation. And so that was cool, seeing other products from a lot of the local growers was pretty awesome to see them on their shelves. So it
So
wasn't
can I interrupt you? What is it
interrupt.
like as a consumer when you are accustomed to going to a dispensary that was medical and they go adult use? What is that like for you?
So it was a learning experience. And full transparency, I didn't know what to expect. But they actually have a separate line for medical and a separate
Okay.
line for adult use. And I mean, it was full priority. Like the line for adult use kind of like was, bzz, bzz, and the line for medical was like four people, but they actually would take an adult use cashier to the next medical person. So, I
So
mean,
why do you think they do that? Is that so that a medical person doesn't have to wait as long, or is that because they've got a register set up with a different taxation rate?
honestly, I don't know the answer to that question, but it's definitely for the priority aspect, but I don't know about the taxation. I would think that would have to be in all registers because you literally have two separate menus. You have the medical menu and the
Okay.
recreational menu
Okay.
right side by side. I mean, I am not an iPad fan of ordering. I mean, I would much rather talk to a being, but because some of these adult use dispensaries are so busy, they have menus on the wall behind the bud tenders a lot of times, or maybe even on monitors throughout the store. But by the time you get to the line and go get to that person, you you've already like forgotten what four items you plan on purchasing because there's so many choices, especially on
Right.
the adult use, right? So
Right.
they
Right.
really
Right.
encourage the online ordering aspect, but a lot of people aren't good at that. A lot of people want to talk to a human. They want to ask questions. They want to understand what's in it, or, you know, That's a
Well, I
thing.
can't wait for the day when we can smell the product or
Oh, you can in the
in,
MJ at the MJ dispensary 585. They got
how
this
do they do
cool
that?
jar. Check it out, Paula. It's sick. Okay, I have the jars with like the magnifier and the light, and I'm definitely I want to know what I'm smoking. And at the MJ dispensary, I have never seen this type of jar. And what it is it's like you've got your magnifier, you've got your light, and then on the side it's got like a little pushy button, and then the scent whiffs up through the magnifier. So you actually can look at it and puff, puff, puff and smell it. That whole sensory thing was pretty cool.
Okay, so we've got these medical patients going through and puff
Back to
puff,
rise now.
but then is there an attendant on hand to do the post COVID cleaning?
Post COVID cleaning? What are you talking about? Who
Well,
post COVID cleans anymore?
I think, well, because I'm still, we have more COVID cases than the first surge right now. Do
All
you
right.
think I'm being extra?
I think you're
If
being
I'm
a
being
little
extra,
extra.
all right,
Okay.
just tell me if I'm being extra. That's
Right
fine.
now,
Say,
COVID is
Paula,
a,
you're
it's a,
extra.
you're just, there's been a lot of progression of where we are now compared to where we were then. So honestly, I mean, am I conscious of how long I wash my hands after I've been playing at the casino? Yes. Do I try not to touch my face? Yes. But for me, I don't have a high risk immune condition. So I guess honestly, you get less sick the more you're exposed to
Hmm.
something. So it's
Hmm.
actually hurting your immunity almost to constantly be living in a bubble, unless, of course, you have some type of immune condition or something like that. Okay. Like,
Okay,
I'm
that's
not
fair.
encouraging people to be reckless that are on kind of those precautions, but I find that it's time we get sick a little. It's time we build that herd immunity. It's time we build that, resistance in our bodies to fight stuff again, and that's so important. But anyway, so post COVID, I mean, maybe they wipe stuff down every after a few patients. I don't know. I mean, I didn't observe that, but again, I wasn't looking at that. Um, but yeah, it was a really positive experience this trip. I
Okay,
mean,
so what do we have in the Buffalo area now? We've
oh,
got, well, Henrietta is not Buffalo, right? Henrietta's
no,
closer to
Henrietta is
that's like
definitely not
Rochester.
Buffalo. It's about an hour and 10 from,
Yeah.
like, if you got on the 90 right in Buffalo, Um, and real easy, straight through way, super easy, right, easy off.
Hmm.
The buzz box. Thank you, Marianne, for that feedback. Apparently that's what it's called, the
A
pushy
buzz
with the
box?
smelly thing,
Oh,
a buzz
interesting.
box. Marianne
Okay.
works at Little Beach Harvest.
Okay.
The
So
cannabis store.
how many dispensaries are open in Western New York? Or let me put it this way. How many dispensaries are open within an hour of you and don't include the Canadian ones?
Oh yeah, Canadian ones can't count. Within an hour. Okay, so Buffalo licensures have, like, they change by the hour. Rochester licensures, they change by the hour. So asking me that question isn't like I didn't prep for it. So quite
Okay.
honestly, last time I looked, I think we had 4 adult use open in Buffalo, um, in the Buffalo area, just Buffalo, and then we have 3 medical. I do know that for a
And
fact.
we had one open on Friday. Soft opening, right? She
Yeah,
hasn't done
so
an actual grand opening.
right. So, and then we have the delivery service Cantera. So
Yeah.
that covers all
And
areas
is
in Western New
Pantera
York.
actively doing their build out or are they still planning their build out?
I honestly don't know.
Okay.
I've never shopped with them, so I haven't really. I mean, I follow the stuff in Western New York, but if you ask me about every single dispensary, I'm not going to be that educated. I know more about the Rochester ones right now.
So I want to put in a plug for Buffalo Dreams that opened
Buffalo
Friday.
Dreams. I met B at the
Buffalo, yeah,
gala.
B is awesome.
B is the
So
boss. B is
B is
pretty.
amazing.
She
B is
is
amazing.
pretty. She is like, woo!
She's very, very business savvy.
Very
So,
professional. Very beautiful, though. I mean, like, just go to
well,
Buffalo
you
Dreams
can be
and say
both.
hi to
Just look
B.
at us.
um, but yeah, Buffalo Dreams is now open. We've got Dank 716. We've got Herbal IQ. We've got the one on Hurdle, Premier Earth. Yes. So however many that is, and then we've got MedMen, PharmaCann, and the Botanist here in Buffalo.
So, what's the buzz on MedMen? Are they gonna limp along or are they gonna die? I mean,
It
I've
doesn't
predicted
sound
their
good.
demise for like 4 years, and here they are, still
You
puffing
know,
along.
I would love to see a real company swallow them up. I mean, it seems a shame to totally kill the brand because it was really, they did a lot of things right at MedMen. Was the last
Early on,
CEO a disaster? 400,000 bazillion percent.
yeah,
Yes.
early
Bad,
on they
bad,
did a lot of
bad.
good things.
But
They gave it.
initially,
I think they sort of kicked off that Apple Store look.
100%. 100%. They made cannabis less dirty.
Yeah.
Is how I perceive MedMen. And then of course you have people now improving on that style, but MedMen was still the iconic, the red, the white, the Apple Store look. Red was their signature color. Yeah, they did marketing right. And every trade show, same message. I mean, you guys, can I just say, if everybody would just wear their same clothes to these events, it would be so easy to figure out who you are, remember you. Or how about we really go back to having a name tag with our company name on it? Can I just say, so many of us see so many people at these events, and we're not all rain men that can remember everyone's name, face,
Hmm.
and what they do. And then you throw in, some whacked out Instagram handles and like, oh, I know you as, I don't know, Jumpy Jill Stoner 420, but didn't know that your real name was Sandy Moore, I'm just
Hmm.
pulling that out of my butt. But like, really, it gets very hectic and confusing. So, to all those listening, how about getting a company name tag with your name? And I'm not talking like one of these that's as big. Remember, 8-point font. If you're over 50, we can't see it. So it's better to be bold than
Well,
not.
you've seen mine that I got at that event that where I saw Jillian. Um, the wooden name tag
Yep.
with the little pot leaf that says Paula.
And that's great. But you should go one step further. Paula Collins, attorney, because people know you as Paula Collins. Paula means nothing to me, right? Um,
Oh, Nikki,
do you know how many
Nikki,
Paulas
you
I've got in
just
my phone?
shattered
I've got
me.
4 of them. I got to like sort through who you are. I almost
I,
sent
but
a
I'm unique.
different Paula our link for the live tonight. Like, duh.
Wow, I could be replaced, I guess.
No, you
So,
can't. But
so what
then,
else is going on? So,
well, so then we did the gala. So then Bloom
so
Rock.
talk to me about the gala. What was the gala? I'm
I've
sorry I
known
couldn't be there,
Precious.
by the way.
I am too. Precious and Brandy. Brandy Hester and Precious Brown. They own EEWC, Educating and Elevating with Cannabis. And then they're part of the Bloom Rock, BLOOM
Uh-huh.
Rock. And they're doing stuff with the C, the social, economic, the equality thing in
Right.
the OCM. They're really focusing on maybe the non-justice impacted individuals, but those that have weaknesses that, they've built like they've got a consultant in there, they have a financial in there, they have legal in there, I think they have marketing in there. They have a lot of core services that you would really need. So I was one of 10 people that was honored, including like Crystal People Stokes, Jeremy Cooney, Mary from Rock Normal, Reggie Keith from Canna House, Go Reggie. Um, I, oh, Brandy Young, the lab owner. Um, Michael Patterson was honored as well. He's part of the city council. Anyway, if I forgot who you are, forgive me. Oh, and 585 Dispensary. He was part of it. I think I got everybody. Um, but all of us got a different award, and mine was um, Bloom Riser or something. It was like a rising leader in the space, and it
Nice,
was
nice.
such an honor because they sold out this event. It was first class, Paula. I mean, I'm not talking like, we're having McDonald's for dinner and we've just rented, a fire hall, which nothing wrong with that. But I'm saying this was a beautiful event space with open bar, appetizers, s'mores for afterwards, a consumption space outside with a fire pit. And it was absolutely beautiful. And
Mm-hmm.
Precious and Brandy just knocked it out of the park. I mean, there was not one thing I would change. If I mean, and you know me, I've been to a hell of a lot of events, and
Well,
this was
I got,
just
they've been working at this since 2021. And I think, I don't know if they've quit their day jobs yet, but they were having to do some serious work. I think I met them at an expungement event in Rochester,
okay.
or
I mean, they're
Brandy. I met
everywhere.
Brandy. Yeah, they're everywhere in that part of the state. Um, and they were kind of throwing events on the wall to see what worked. Like they sponsored a run, and they
Yep,
did
I
a couple
remember
of
that
other
run.
things just to kind of normalize cannabis. That was their whole purpose. That was their approach. Like, AT&T will sponsor a run. Well, we're going to sponsor a run just to
Right.
say, um, and also they wanted to tie in that idea that cannabis is healthy. And so the run and health and
Sure,
cannabis.
sure, absolutely. And they've done like I was part of one of their events. They called it educating and medicating, or
Hmm.
mature and informed. And we took a bus of women from a senior housing complex to Etane Dispensary, got them all their medical cards, and educated them on the plant. I literally had empty containers of Etane products, which was super cool that they had sent me that because I really like Etane products. Um, and so I just would show them, this is what a vape pen is. I had some of my, loose cannabis. I had vape pens with me. I had like the Curaleaf nanobites, which I like so much. And I really talked to them about how to do the pod, if you will. It was like
Hmm.
it wasn't like an immersive super experience like I would really want, but on that bus ride, that hour bus ride, we covered a lot of ground. A lot of people asked questions. A lot of people, I handed out my terp cards, and you know, when they went to the dispensary, I mean, I probably should have prepped them on this a little bit, but everybody was asking for specific terpenes and like, I don't know that EJ was prepped for that, like right at the top of their tongue, because I taught them how, indica, sativa, and hybrid mean nothing, and then at the end of the day, that's how the menu's laid out. So naturally, they're like, well, what do we do now? And so I kind of, yeah, whatever.
So
But
I have a question for you.
I can't
I was
wait.
in a conversation. Yeah, you can't wait. You never know what I'm going to ask.
I
Um,
know. Put me on the spot again.
okay, so my older friends will often make a comment like, "Well, I've heard that the pot that you can get in the dispensaries is not the same kind of stuff that we were smoking in the 70s." How would you respond to that? Like, how do I even begin? Like, they're
You're
worried
right.
that they're going
You're
to take
right. It's
two
not.
puffs and they're going to be down for the count.
You're right. It's not the same pot like in the 70s. It's more tailored and we understand more about its effects. So, what effect are you looking for relief from? Are you looking to be more focused? Are you looking to be more sleepy? Are you looking to be, alleviate your pain? Again, you can't ask medical questions in an adult use dispensary, and really only the pharmacist is trained to answer those medical questions. So if you're not in a medical dispensary, it's really a touchy situation what you can ask and what the bud tender is actually allowed to say. Like they're just not allowed to say things. So keeping that in mind, I mean, no one wants to be liable for directing someone down the wrong path with the wrong products. Thanks, Marianne, for the congrats. Uh, but yeah, it was just that's how you start the conversation. And then, but you have to know what you're treating. I mean, my first advice to any new consumer, okay, you have MS. What are you most bothered by with the
Hmm.
MS that your medication is not addressing? Hi, Wendy
Okay.
Johnson. Love my Ohio pals. Oh my God, I got asked to be a speaker in Kentucky. Holy shit. Kentucky is like just starting their medical program. So these guys are infants. I mean, I got to really back my stuff up. You know what I'm saying? I got to go back to the basics with this guy. And I can, but, you got to know your audience. But
Well,
anyway,
it's so interesting that Kentucky is grappling with these issues now because were it not for Kentucky, we would have not had the 2018 Farm Bill
right?
because of Mitch McConnell,
Yeah,
and that's his
that's a
state.
state. Yeah, I'm like, yeah, Mitchie. But Mitchie, my favorite, not. But yeah, it's a whole thing. So I'm kind of excited for that, but I just think that I'm going to have to really read up on what's allowed there. I mean, one of the worst things
Yeah.
to do is go into a different state and not know the law.
Oh, yeah,
And
that
I
is.
hear that happens all the time. Like the people from California that came to New York, they didn't understand what our law said that we can and can't do. So it's like
So
it's
they
not always
duplicated it, and
applicable,
yeah, it's
you
not.
know,
It's not.
like
You have
I
that
mean
with with
I
the
didn't
people
yeah,
from
I didn't
DC,
I mean it's cool to have that
Colorado.
comparison, but if you're literally, if you're coming to a state to compare your state and what New York's doing, you kind of should know the laws. So, I mean, like, if I'm doing this Kentucky thing, which I've been accepted, it's just, I got to look at the whole pricing thing
Yeah,
um, and figure it out because, it's going to be probably their first event, right? Like, I don't think
right.
Kentucky's probably had a lot of conventions. It's like 3 days. Like they're starting out hard.
But I
Um,
do think they have smoked some pot.
I gotta believe it. Yeah, I gotta
Yeah,
believe it. And I am,
yeah.
yeah, I'm pretty efficient now at how I pack my medicine. So I'll definitely
Okay.
bring in some medicine from New York. But um, so that's my updates. So now let's get into some meat and potatoes and some real dirty lawyer stuff.
Well,
Let's
I
talk.
I don't know if you've noticed, but LinkedIn has been quiet. Even after the decisions came down on the temporary restraining orders,
The
which
TROs,
the
yes.
TROs, neither one of the two cases that we have decisions on, neither one has really applied a TRO, or the judge did not impose a TRO. So for right now, we're good to go. So that was on the Verasite case, Verasite 4 and 5, and also on the, is it Friendly Flower? Was that the name of it?
Something, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Let me
The
pull it
girl
up.
case.
The,
I got the girl case, I got the crazy race case, and then I got the Verasite
yeah,
case.
yeah. Um, so, but tonight, Friendly Flower. That was the name of it. Friendly Flower 1 and Friendly Flower 2. But when I was checking the docket tonight, I found two cases I had not seen before, one of which was filed January 12th, and another of which was filed, let me find it, wait for it, January 16th. The January 16th is New York Medical Growers LLC versus or against James V. McDonald, who is Commissioner of the New York State Department of Health, the New York State Department of Health, and then the usual defendants, Cannabis Control Board and Office of Cannabis Management. Yeah. So Chris Alexander and Tremaine. Right. And so it might even be that this case is peeled off, and that is, I think that is what it is. This case is peeled off from the other growers case. Um, but it's so interesting that I hadn't seen it before. And they don't seem to have asked for a TRO. Let me scroll through the case right now. Mostly they had a declaratory judgment. So sometimes a plaintiff will simply want clarification on, who's right and who's wrong. Um, and let me look through the case to see their other ask. Um, and that plaintiffs have been damaged by the Department of Health's rollout of all of this. It's again, questioning, gee, the
The
rollout of,
priority, the
well, in this case, it's not the priority, or, um,
because the Department of Health doesn't handle the medical program anymore. Is it like a refiled older case?
well, defendants behind closed doors legislation arises from Department of Health's intentional desire to avoid public discussion on a matter of public interest. Um, and so, by reason of the foregoing, the defendants have violated the plaintiff's First Amendment rights under the Constitution of the United States. Um, so they're asking, so the other thing is that they wanted to understand more about the scoring system.
Uh,
And um, they say the 10 entities ultimately awarded registrations, meaning the ROs that were awarded registrations, got preferential treatment and were provided written notice of the factors that required further evidence and were given the opportunity to provide. So that's that thing that OCM will do,
that they
which
had
is,
to have 4 operating stores. They had to have, right? Like that's what you mean?
well, what I'm talking about is when OCM gives you an opportunity to cure the deficiencies. So they're
Oh,
saying
oh,
they
oh.
they had these 10 entities, they allow them to cure deficiencies. They're saying the facts show that there were improper meetings held between Department of H and certain of the top 10 RO applicants, which that's kind of interesting. And as a public agency, the defendants are under a duty to afford due process of law to all entities having business before it. Um, so it's kind of a wide ranging thing that they're asking for. Let me get to, gosh, 6 causes of action. I should have read through this in depth before we went live. Um,
Well, we can always hit it next week. You can give us the results. Well, we're not doing next week. Let's make an announcement now. It's Super Bowl Sunday, right? Next week. That's the 12th.
right?
So we will not be live on that Sunday. You are going to miss Paula and Nikki. We will make an announcement, but we will definitely be back the week after because then we'll have
Yeah,
2 weeks of scoop to gather.
yeah.
And so we will definitely give you guys an update on this latest medical case. And what was the other one, Paula?
The friendly flower. Oh, wait, the other new
No.
case was
Yeah.
somebody who um, apparently had enforcement action against him, and he is suing, he's doing an Article 78, which is when you sue a state or government entity. And why can't I find that one? Which I find kind of interesting that that even exists, because we've been doing those not as Article 78 cases, but just through the hearing process. We
Hmm.
haven't done the only Article 78 that would be similar would be the Dave Tully case. Um, Speaking of Henrietta, New York, but because Dave Tully had a presence in Henrietta, but yeah, it's kind of the same thing about that I raised about due process, um, and also the illegal search and seizure,
Mm.
and also the idea that when OCM makes these determinations, it's it's a little bit, it's not like a regular criminal court. They don't have the same obligation to show evidence and testing and pounds and so forth. And then OCM will come out with these pronouncements. And then in this case, the petitioner, the guy filing the lawsuit, wants, um, because one of the things that happens when you settle with OCM or when the case is over with, you have a mark on your name so that you can't
Can't
apply
apply
for a
for a
license.
license.
Yeah. Um, so,
So that could be another little roar out there, but it, I don't know what's major and what's minor. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know what's going to affect what, but I guess the good news is for those that are in process of actually getting awarded their license that they can continue their construction without restriction for the moment, which is,
mhm,
I think, really good news for a lot of people. But it still doesn't fix the problem of the people that have the land, that have the operational capacity, and we should be giving them the ability to open. Personally, I don't get that. I don't grasp it. That was the whole point of this early opening of applicants, and I
mhm.
don't know. It's just
Yeah, there's that. And then, you know, we still haven't heard very much publicly from OCM since the last meeting was canceled.
right. Since the last meeting was kicked, and there's one coming up in Albany, I believe, is the next OCM meeting,
Yeah, that's in middle of the month, right?
middle of the month, correct?
Hmm.
Um,
Hmm.
and I think it's during caucus week or something. They expected a lot of people to be in attendance, so that's why they moved it to
Well, it's a
Albany.
pretty big room, so they can accommodate it there. So,
Which, kudos that we have public comments still. you know, uh, it's just there's so many things that we can do together, and we just need our message to be consistent. What do we want? Like, find the solution, quit just whining about the situation, give constructive feedback. They're humans that are writing laws that is uncharted territory for a lot of them. So give them some grace, give them some kindness, but you can't criticize something if you don't participate in it. And if they don't hear you, that's on them. But at least make the effort to contribute in a way that's meaningful. At least that's what I'm learning, that,
yeah.
you know, the more we talk about it, the more they hear it. When they hear it more, then change happens. So, again, I don't have all the answers and I don't claim to, but we just need to work together more. And
Hmm.
like, I don't know if that means a petition, that some, like Canny creates or one of the other organizations creates of what we really want. I mean, the public comment periods were there, but they didn't seem to take a lot of the comments and apply them in the regulations. So I feel like maybe they need a little refresher on that. Like, this is what's wrong. This is not fair. And we're advancing in the medical program. That's what's like kind of cool. I'm super pumped because Tuesday I'm going to be live with the OCM and another advocate by the name of Esther. And she's based in New York City. She does a lot of education with
Hmm.
kids
With
and
Department of
parents.
Ed. Yeah, the Department of Ed.
Yeah, she's really. I had never heard of her, which is kind of surprising. I
She's one of my
know,
best friends.
but
She called me the other night. We were chatting, 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 chatting,
really, well,
dishing,
she
dishing,
seems super
dishing.
cool and super knowledgeable, and like I'm really excited to be beside her because we're doing an OCM live at 4:20 on Tuesday, I think.
Okay. Here's the thing about Esther, and one day I hope Esther will, when we start to have guests, I would love to have Esther.
Okay.
Esther and I do not see eye to eye on many, many issues. But to your point, that what we need is an exchange of ideas, an exchange of comments, and the collaborative building of this industry. She and I are able to really disagree, like profoundly at a gut level disagree, but we're still friends, and we're still like able to say, you know what, I love you, but I hate what you're saying.
Well,
And
and that's
I think that's
okay.
vital. I
That's
think that's vital.
constructive. That's
Yeah.
we can all contribute something. We don't all have to see like we can see a little gray. We can see different shades of gray. We don't have to
Hmm.
be this white and this black in our thinking. We
Hmm.
can
Hmm.
literally, okay, if that's how you feel, that's cool. But I think you're fucking crazy. But that's okay because I love you. Like I'm not going to hate
Or
the
I'm
person.
dedicated to this industry. I am,
I'm
despite my
committed to
positions
remove the
on
stigma.
many, many different issues, I remain committed to a fully regulated New York cannabis industry. And I think it
And
still
like,
surprises some people when I say that.
and Paula, my hat goes off to you because you're trying to be a solution base for this. You've made many points and many ideas about how do we really get those legacy operators that aren't licensed right now to be licensed. And I 100% agree with that. But if they're not going to go through the licensing process like everybody else does, I don't know. Maybe they have a higher tax rate. Maybe they have a higher, microscope under them, but they should still be paying taxes. They should still be, in some way, I hate to use the word penalized, but I feel like they
And I
should have to
propose that.
pay more for not going through the real regs. And, it was interesting hearing Kathy Hochul say that. She did a comment in the Buffalo News earlier in the week. And it was something where she said, it's not like on every street corner in Manhattan. It's literally every other door
It
in
is. It
Manhattan. There's
totally
a
is.
sticker shop, like, or a pot shop. And again, I don't know if they're legacy. I don't know if they just rented the store space and set up yesterday, and they're bringing stuff in from Michigan or wherever. But at the end of the day,
Well,
something's
and
got to
how
give.
something's got to give. Now, I guess you know that the latest thing is that people who got rated way back in June of 2023, which, in cannabis, that's like light years ago because so much changes from week to week. But
Right.
people who got rated in June of 2023 are now receiving six-figure tax bills from the New York State Department of Tax
Interesting.
based on the proceeds from that raid,
Okay.
which, I'm a lawyer. And so my pushback is they didn't have the opportunity to pay cannabis taxes before you sent them this bill or before the raid.
I don't know the answer to that because luckily I'm not in that situation.
No,
But
you just go to Canada.
I
I'm,
do.
I'm
I
kidding you. I'm
do. I
kidding you.
don't bring the shit home though. I mean,
Yeah, I know you
I'm
don't
not an
bring it home.
international like person
Trafficker.
like that, but I'm literally again, because it doesn't impact me directly, it's really hard for me to comment because I don't know enough of the situation.
Hmm.
I mean, I know
It's
a
hard
lot of
for
it.
any of us to comment. I mean, it's a very confusing thing what has happened. I spent the weekend in. I bought some land and I spent the weekend in the vicinity of where my land is. It's in Rensselaer County. And so I stayed at an animal sanctuary close to where this land is and hung
Hung
out
out with
with
pigs and yaks.
pigs and yaks. Yeah, they had 10 yaks and 13 pigs and a bunch of rabbits because you can't just have two rabbits, you know.
Why
Um,
not?
but they were all rescued from various places. The rabbits were rescued from a hoarder in Brooklyn. I don't know if anybody remembers that case a few years ago. This woman had like 350 rabbits in a one-bedroom apartment.
Stop
So,
it.
so yeah. So anyway, um, it was interesting to talk to people, you know, because you sit around. It's like a guest house. So you sit
Okay.
around and you talk to people, or you could not, but I did. Um, And, you know, what do you do for a living? What do you do for a living? What do you do for a living? Oh, well, I'm a cannabis tax attorney. Oh, that's a thing? Um, and I guess it's a thing. Yeah, I guess so. And so you kind of explain it all. And it's like, but it's all legal now, isn't it? Well, no, it's not. Um, but it is this, you know, once again, underscoring the dilemma that it's legal to smoke and legal to possess, but not legal to buy and sell. That's getting better. That what are we up to? Probably about 55 shops open,
No, I think
56.
we're like at 62.
Okay, cool. Very
I
cool.
think. God, you're better at the number thing than I am, but I feel like I saw 61 or
Yeah,
sixty-two.
I haven't checked in a few days, so I could be behind. Um, but you know, that was the dilemma for a couple of years, 3 years really. And so like where does the product come from that you can legally smoke and legally possess, but you can't grow it at home? Do we have home grow yet? That's a very
Oh,
fine line.
for medical,
For
100%.
medical, yes, but okay, let's think about the law. They canceled the meeting at which they were going to vote on the
Yes.
resolution for home grow. But all the media was ready to announce, so they announced that it's legal.
Really?
Yeah. So
Great.
the media, I mean, because I had friends calling me who are not in cannabis. Believe it or not, I have friends outside of cannabis.
I have like
I had friends
two.
who were calling me saying, "Hey, it's legal to grow at home now," and I'm like, "No, they canceled the meeting. You got to wait till next month's meeting." So
But I mean, the original law said, or the original reg said, 18 months after the first adult use dispensary opens. So that would be in June if we take Housing Works was the first one that opened, or Union Square, whatever one. Whichever one
housing
opened,
works.
Housing Works opened first, and that was the end of December. So basically, the end of June, according to the regs, that was when home grow could start for the general public, like the
So that
non
means
medical
it's
patients.
is it June of 2024 yet? Oh, June. Wait, so housing works open June of
2022.
2022. Okay, all
Correct.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
baby. How's that? Connecting the dots with those numbers. Um,
Connecting the dots.
that's how I ended my acceptance award, by the way.
Connect
Just
the dots.
remember,
Uh,
cannabis connects our dots. Yeah.
yeah, that's very
Um,
powerful branding.
yeah, it works. I'm very spottable. But yeah, that's a thing, but I love New York State for giving us wherever you can smoke cigarettes, you can smoke cannabis.
It
That
is
is
a
the
big difference.
biggest win on the planet with any other regulation. Like when
Yeah.
I saw that as a patient, I cannot tell you how much safer I feel. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Like I
Hmm.
literally can be outside a bar smoking cannabis. I mean, I don't go to bars, so I mean it's kind of an irrelevant point. But I could literally be walking to a meeting outside smoking a joint just like the human smoking a cigarette. And I mean
Hmm.
people might not like it or they might look at you, but guess what? We got to kind of normalize that.
Well, it's
Um,
funny when I pass somebody on, I live in the village, it's very compact. And if I pass somebody smoking a joint, I'm like, okay, New York, all right,
it's
New
New
York.
York,
And
baby.
it's everywhere, right? It's everywhere. And then if I pass somebody smoking a cigarette, I'm like, dude, like, don't you
Gross.
have any
Get some weed.
manners?
Get some weed, man.
It's
Um,
so funny. Just my personal reaction.
Honestly, I think cannabis smells better than cigarettes. I'm just grossed out by the smell of cigarettes. I mean, no shade to those that smoke. I'm not trying to be judgmental and sound like I'm wah. Um, but really, yeah. Like when I was at the casino, I got so turned off when I was working as a dealer at the casino. I just got smoke blown in my face of every
Yeah,
cigar and cigarette for 8 hours
yeah,
a day, and it's just bad.
yeah.
Just, so I guess maybe it's a little PTSD when I smell that smell again. Um, Hot flash?
This is no. I guess I should have removed my headset. Okay, this is not my what did we call it? Only Friends act. That was not an Only Friends act. Okay, isn't that what we call it?
I don't know. Whatever. But point is, an OnlyFans.
Okay,
I get it. I got you.
only fans or
Yeah.
friends. Okay, all right, I got it.
No, it's
Okay,
fans. Whatever.
only
Um,
fans. Okay, so what are we looking for this week in New York cannabis? Because we're about at the top of the hour. This week I'm looking for more lawyers to chime in on the state of the state. I gotta say, one of the reasons I haven't really spent a lot of time with the documents is I'm busy putting together various matches with card licensees and investors, and every single deal is different.
and
There is
every
no,
single deal potentially has shade in it for one of the parties.
oh, oh, oh.
And like there are some really great consultants out there. There are a lot of people that call themselves a consultant, and they should not. They just shouldn't.
Well, I mean, you are drawing up legal documents that involve potentially millions of dollars. So
Yeah, right?
if you're on one side of that table or the other, you really need to take those documents to an attorney, if not a couple of attorneys, like because you want each party to have their own attorney and then
Yes,
an attorney for the deal, maybe.
correct.
But I gotta say, part of the issue that we're having is people who say, you know what, this has been so hard and so stressful. I just want to get my money and get out. And we can't do that.
No.
So there is shade on both sides of the table. Because on the other side, you have the investor saying, I'll
Where's
give you
my
X
money?
amount of, yeah, I want X amount of, I want to get the license and I want to pay X amount of dollars. And then the other side says, no, it's worth more. And the market says, and I'm like, dude, there is no market.
I
How
don't
do
know
you
where you're getting your
value?
valuation from, pal, but we're not there
Well,
yet.
yeah, and so they'll quote, "Oh, that guy upstate is making millions of dollars every week," and it's like, yeah, maybe now, but we've still got so few shops. It's like it's really, really hard to place a value on a New York or on any cannabis license throughout the country. You know?
Every state is their own little country. I say it over and over again because they literally are different in how they roll out every aspect of it.
And
And
here's a
so,
thought. Like California is so long, and so each little area has its own financial ecosystem and what that license would be worth. And I really think the same is true about New York. And I would also say, and I'll have to find data to support this, um, a license in the Western District might be more valuable than a license in the city.
isn't that crazy? I mean,
Yeah.
really, it really is. And we've been kind of like ignored because everybody's just so focused on New York City. And I don't think we have as many sticker stores or illicit operators going on this end of the state as you guys do downstate. personally. I'm not saying they don't exist, they totally exist, but it's not like all of it. So,
Depends on the area, like
yeah.
it really it varies from place to place.
So I just have to do a little shout out because my favorite brand, like in the
Here we
adult use
go.
market.
This is my favorite part of our lives.
All right, so see this.
What does that
There's a
say?
company called Green Thumb
Oh,
Industries,
dog
and they have a
walkers.
brand called Dog Walkers. And it literally is the cutest little tin. It has like great little tiny pre rolls that are perfect for me. And then you got Meet Bailey. This is Ben Cavalier's dog. And, they actually, dude, here's the best part of it. So I can actually open the boxes, which for pretty much any adult use product, I cannot. Sorry, a little sticker here, but got it easily with those claws. And you literally just push on the sides and it just kind of slides out super easy. And then it's got its little tin and its little hole. But then it's got, scientists have shown that dogs respond to human tears and will naturally try and reassure the stressed person. They actually give you a little sticker and they actually donate a portion of the proceeds back to a local humane society. So when I was talking to them, like that just makes me smile inside. You know what I'm saying? Like I
Yeah.
love animals so much and like I don't know. I just really like this brand. They've been quality. I smoke these all over the country, literally all over the country because they're in so many states. And I love the branding. I love everything about it. So, guys, go check out the dog walkers if you're in the adult use or medical area. I've only seen them in the medical area so far, but that's just because they just got.
Oh, I've seen them. Well,
Oh, do you have a rise up by you though? We haven't had a rise our way.
I've seen it must be a knockoff in the gray market.
Really? Well,
And then they've got some that are tiny pre-rolls that are very
infused.
slim.
Oh,
No, slim. And they call them slimmies. And so
slimmies.
slimmies. And so, it's for just a short few puffs and you can go
Yeah.
on with your day. So,
Well, anyway, you guys, Western New York rapport is coming to a close. We appreciate everyone that has participated. We think you
dos
guys are
semanas.
awesome. And we had some real ballers start out with us tonight and like really appreciate you guys like digging this because we're just trying to educate and have open conversations about what's going on in Western New York, but what's going on in the rest of the state as well. So, not next week, but the week after,
Dos
getting
semanas. Two
we
weeks.
will
Dos
2 weeks.
semanas.
We will not be live on Super Bowl Sunday. Spread the word if you're out there watching. But we will be live the week after. So join us every Sunday night, and we will see you soon. Bye, friends.